With all due respect, Captain, you have no jurisdiction over the Paradise Militia.
The Emperor's envoy. I'm glad to see His Majesty is sending more Adirans to settle this untamed land. I am Alfir, a captain in the Steel Garrote under Inquisitor Ludwine. How else should one take one's rank, envoy? This sergeant of the Paradise Militia refuses to discipline his people about lingering near our headquarters. A less charitable woman might suppose that their loitering is intended to aggravate us.
Be reasonable. My militia need to pass this way to go to and from the East Gate. What are they supposed to do? Walk all the way down to the market entrance just to make you feel better? No one was doing anything to Captain Alfir's soldiers. Look, none of us are professional soldiers. We're militia. We all have other jobs to get back to. Of course, we'll stop to have a drink and a laugh with our friends on our way to and from the gate. If the Steel Garrote want to look down their noses at us for our lack of discipline, that's fine. Just stop complaining that we don't take everything as seriously as you joyless lot!
See? This is what I'm talking about. Antagonism, plain and simple. Very well, envoy. Though it would be easier to do my job if there were fewer distractions.
I suppose you'll have to rely on that famous Adiran discipline then. Many thanks, envoy.
Hey, get around.
Hi, Margaret. Don't.
If you have to ask, you can't afford it.
Lavager Aemon allowed these interlopers onto our streets. And where did it get him? Slave! Murder!
Captain from the Bailey and Trading Company seeks a criminal known as Trevor. Trevor and his crew are believed armed and deadly.
Tell me you brought good news. Oh, Envoy, you return. And you brought a friend. Ambassador Heelguard, at your service.
Always nice to meet an Adiran who isn't trying to goad me into a fight.
What of these rebels? The streets are full of rumors, but your word is the only one I trust. You... what?
Oh boy.
Envoy, tell me this isn't true. When an Imperial envoy is killed in the streets, the motive is irrelevant. We needed to answer this challenge with blood. Don't you see what this will do to our credibility? Thanks to you, these rebels will continue to undermine our work in the Living Lands without resistance or fear. Worse still, now everyone knows our flank is exposed. Oh my gods, Ludwine is going to eat us alive. Well, she will do the talking. The best we can do is grovel.
She sounds like a wonderful person.
There's nothing to be done. All we can do is brace for the inevitable, though it may damn us in the end. You're right. I need to project more confidence than I feel. Whether or not our days are numbered, the city needs us. The least we can do is be useful on our way to the grave. Now the Emperor wants you to investigate the Dream Scourge, and I have no wish to delay you any further. I'm sending you to Fior Messi Verno, a community of Valian expatriates deep in Emerald Stair. The Animancers may have some knowledge of the Dream Scourge already. Learn whatever you can from them. Animancers draw power from the spirit world. Their dark research can twist, break, and even corrupt the very soul. The Empire has no tolerance for Animancers, and with good reason. Their work is dangerous, heretical. Governor Vidaro will be your first point of contact. I'm told he's barely keeping the community in order. Seek him out if you need direction. Good hunting, Envoy.
Hilgard. Why is it that whenever I hear your name, it's because you've disgraced the Empire?
No, strangling light. Keep her away.
Is that, her?
Inquisitor Ludwine. So kind of you to join us.
While you brood over the Dream Scourge, this island is coming apart at the seams.
Stay your wrath. Allow me to present the Adiran Envoy, dispatched by the Emperor himself, to aid us in our time of need.
You can't. Once you deserve such a mask, it will find you. I can't believe you troubled the Emperor to send an envoy. Haven't you done enough to flaunt your incompetence?
Under the circumstances, I thought it might be...
Silence! You busy yourself with the Dream Scourge. A mere fever and chills, leaving the real work to me. He needs to listen for a change. I have scoured this island and faced the truths from which you cower. The Living Lands is on the brink of total collapse, and you have ignored the discontent in your own city. Now, the Envoy's killer roams free, unpunished, spreading word of our ineptitude.
The blame is mine, and mine alone.
Awfully generous for the ambassador to take the fall like that. I wonder when this will come back to bite us.
We should be better than this. Leading by example. This island has seen nothing but us at our weakest. What say you? I've been saying this all along, but his solution was to go over my head, to summon help from across the known world.
If you're done eviscerating me, you'll be interested to learn I'm sending the envoy to the Animancers of Emerald Stair.
You are ridiculous. Emerald Stair is under assault by the very wilderness it claims to have conquered. The Animancers cling to pride and tradition even as they dig their own graves. You're right about the second part. Clearly I've wasted my time with you, Ambassador. From now on, I will break the frontier on my own terms. You are free to disagree with my methods, but you cannot stop me. As for you, Envoy, farewell.
She is going to be a problem. She'll mount your head on one of those points if you aren't careful. Put her out of your mind. The Dream Scourge is more than enough for us to chew on, at least for now. Oh, before I forget, Liviana gave you a clean bill of health. You're cleared to leave for Emerald Stair. Fair warning, Animanters and Adirians don't mix well. Their kind can be a tad, unhinged. At least you'll have that in common, if nothing else.
They're a fun bunch. Crazy, but fun.
Wonderful. Now I have to keep a tight grip on my soul on top of everything else.
Should you cross paths with Ludwig, well, try not to. I have no idea what's gotten into her. Safe travels. I'm told Emerald Stair is beautiful this time of year.
We're done here. We can get to Emerald Stair in no time if we leave now.
You there! Are you just going to stand there and walk about the body all day?
Envoy. On the contrary, Paradise believes it can help you.
Careful, he could be a messenger. Or this could get interesting.
We wait in places you will never think to look. Your mercy for our compatriots has not gone unnoticed. Take this. We deem you worthy. This time, we trust you will remember our gratitude.
Something doesn't feel right here. Never has.
Hold a moment. They tell me you're going to Emerald Stair. Business or pleasure? Well, just remember to cover your mouth, sneeze into your elbow, and sleep with lavender under your pillow. Fair warning, Envoy. Before you showed up, Inquisitor Ludwine barged past me. She was looking none too pleased. I didn't ask. The less I know, the better. Anyway, I thought you should know Ludwine's on the prowl. Tread lightly.
So Ludwine's somewhere out there doing who knows what. Wonderful.
Given how angry she was about Eagwolf, probably best we give her a wide berth.
Oh, one other thing. Did you hear about that expedition team that went missing in the caves north of the city? It's frightful stuff. Can't imagine crawling through caves for a living myself. The ground's been rumbling something fearsome over there, and those roots have been growing like mad. I hope it's not another strangleroot situation is all I'm saying, because those people are goners. Anyway, I hope you can lend them a hand. Seems like a bad way to go. You're cleared to pass, Envoy.
Can't say I'm sad to be leaving Paradise. I had no idea how tense things were with the Adirans moving in. And now we have to worry about whether the man who killed you is going to try again.
It's what most of us come here for. I only wish more of us really got one. Unfortunately, the Steel Garrote will see this as an excuse to crack down. I get the feeling they've been looking for one.
Steel Garrote? I figured they're just more intense Adiran soldiers.
They're certainly making their presence known. Can't say they're making any friends, though.
I don't like that Ludwine woman. She gives me the vreekas.
Yeah, I've seen floggings gentler than the scolding she gave Hilgard. One's tacking when the other's jibing, if you catch my drift. Taking in the slack is one thing. They look ready to strangle each other with it.
And it's a good thing we're getting out of the city.
Yeah. Much as Liviana misses our company, I wouldn't count on your mysterious friend reviving you a second time.
Are you listening to that friend when you go all blank-eyed from time to time? Does your special friend talk to you? I mean, I had an imaginary friend when I was little, but they never brought me back from the dead.
He means that with all due professional respect, of course.
How do you know this friend doesn't mean us any harm? Unless they have their own use for you. That's what's giving me the shakes.
We're headed to Fjord Messi Verno to see if the Animancers know anything about the Dream Scourge, right? Maybe we'll learn something about your condition in the process.
Right. When it comes time to deal with Animancers, you two are on your own.
Most fun things are.
They could stand around and have scholarly debates about souls all they want. Gives me a great opportunity to take a nap.
I haven't been back in a while, but Fjord is, an interesting place. It was founded about 50 years ago by a disgraced Valian duke and a handful of Animancers who'd soured on politics in the Republics.
Town full of nobles, scholars, and leeches, all surviving off the work of the farmers who grow food for the whole island. Right. You know, present company excluded, and all that.
Don't take it personally. Marius only does this with people he likes.
I'd say something back at you, but I'm just not feeling it for some reason.
See what I mean? It turns out that academics are as ungovernable as the rest of us rabble.
They don't understand what they're messing with. They can't tame the wilds with machinery.
They've held it at bay, until recently. Their ingenuity, or madness, or heresy, take your pick, has fed a lot of people in the living lands. But, rumor has it, some unnatural blight is destroying their crops. We'll find out soon enough. And while we're in Emerald Stair, there's something I've been putting off. An old friend from my time in Thirdborn had a cabin out in the woods. Tama. He passed a while ago, but he left something for me that I never got around to picking up. But since we'll be in Emerald Stair anyway... You won't regret it. Emerald Stair's lovely this time of year. Even the Delimgon bloom.
No matter what I tell you, you keep picking flowers from things that want to kill you.
Hey, they love me. You just gotta ask nicely. Compliment their foliage.
Right. Maybe buy them a drink before they choke you to death with vines. Well, you came to the right place.
You and I have quite the adventure ahead of us, Envoy.
Our deal was I'd help you find your assassin. I did that. I figured you'd probably travel faster with fewer people anyway. I have, things to do back in Paradise. Yep, keeps me plenty busy.
Come to think of it, I haven't been to Emerald Stair in a while, and the Envoy's never been. Know any good guides we could hire?
None that could help the two of you. You need the best guide in the lands to keep you from getting yourselves killed.
Yeah. Who else is going to show us which mushrooms we can eat, and which ones want to eat us?
Now that you mention it, you're going to need my help if you're traveling through the lands with this Nimdut. I have 2 rules. No campfire songs, and no hugs. That last one's non-negotiable.
I hear wiggle room on the singing.
If we're done being ridiculous, we should get some rest. We'll be in Emerald Stair tomorrow.
Good to have you with us, Marius.
Right. Go to bed before you violate the hugging rule. You should keep an eye on that scrape on your arm. You don't want it to get infected.
It barely even counts as a scrape.
That's the worst kind of flesh wounds. Lots of open skin. Contact. Snap flies like the peeled skin. Fog mites love the blood.
Oh, would you be a dear and help me with the please?
Looks like she could use our help.
Not hitting hard enough.
seek!
Oh, fantastic. People. I was about to lose my wits.
The mind's question. The dust of the Akita in her hair. She knocks. We would answer.
You wouldn't happen to have a ladder on hand, would you? Don't take that tone with me, darling. There's a beautiful vase right in those ruins that I cannot reach. And as sharp as my wits are, they are a poor substitute for a ladder. But perhaps we don't need one. You're tall, striking, and well-toned. Oh, of course. Why would a priceless artifact be important? Well, I'm not surprised you don't know of the Godless. But they were here in the Living Lands long before we were. Long before anyone else, as far as I can tell. Give or take a few thousand years. They lived on every corner of the lands. You must have passed a few of their ruins on the way here. The big ones, with spires that look more than a little phallic. A lot of their structures were embedded in the ground. They lived in harmony with the land. I mean, as much as you can live in harmony with the land actively trying to kill you. Maybe it was nicer back then. 30 years of research, and as far as I can tell, they just upped and disappeared one day. Fascinating, right? Well, what's important is that the vase is within my grasp, now that I've a tall, dark, and handsome stranger to help. There's a vase in this ruin that's too high for me to reach. Fetch it for me. I can pay you in skates if you do. The vase sits atop that tower beside us, in the ruins there. And once you've got it, look me up. Yatsley, wizard extraordinaire, godless expert, and a Balrog in the bedroom.
You meet the most interesting people.
I can get you 1,000 faces that don't require going into some ancient ruins. No one listens to me.
Arms up! Here we go!
Weapon's not doing the job.
You're almost too weak here. Look right!
Lady!
Worse than raw! Where?
Not bad, Marius.
Thunderous titties, you found it! I tried using magic to get the face down, but alas. Thankfully, you and your little friends came along and saved the day.
Excuse me. We're all bigger than you are, Nimdude.
I may be small, but my magic is not, I assure you. Of course I can. Are you a wizard as well? Remarkable. An Adiran godlike wizard. You're nearly as fascinating as this godless face. But I'd best pack up. I want to get home. I've a new artifact to study. Thank you for your help, godlike. Even if you didn't have a ladder.
Well, that's something I hope never happens again.
I've got a few inches to spare if she changes her mind. Better weapon. Good work. Carve won't hold up.
You see that?
Glad that's over. I've never seen Emerald stare like this. It's usually so nice.
Those are no ordinary farmhands.
Worth and Roth!
As if people weren't hungry enough.
Hand in hand, They toil, and the earth gives in return. The smile of the harvest.
I don't see what's the problem.
If you can't see it, I doubt I can explain it to you. They just make me feel uncomfortable.
I'm glad to see revenants working in our fields. I see nothing wrong with it.
What if the body used to be your brother? Your grandfather? You, Adiran, you know what a revenant is, don't you? Your dead friends and family walking around rotting all over your cabbages?
Well, they're more efficient than we are. They don't need to sleep or eat, and it leaves us free to do other things.
Oh, well, fire is much more efficient at harvesting the fields, but we wouldn't want to eat whatever it leaves behind. Every monster we let wander the valley is one more threat to our children, not to mention to our crops. At least someone around here seems to have a semblance of common sense.
I really don't think you can deny that everything
You showed up at a bad time. Word of advice, give a wide berth to the governor's manor. Giata's about to tear that poor man a new one. Well, I hope you have a stomach for profanity.
Huh. A woman shouting profanity at leadership? Reminds me of home.
She came storming up the hill with a wheelbarrow full of spoiled crops. Then the shouting started.
Animancers fighting? This I have to see.
This isn't the first time Giata's put the governor in his place, but it might be the last. Look around. The town's overgrown, the crops are dying. What's not to fight about?
Just take a blessed day look outside. Doesn't take a genius to see this place is rolling downhill.
The governor's manor is on the far side of town. You can't miss it. Just follow the sound of foul language.
I was hoping to learn some local curses.
Looking forward to seeing what it looks like when animancers fight.
Ah, the Emperor's envoy. Come to interfere in Steel Garrote business again? Certainly not. Besides, I have no more business in Fjord. If you're here to speak with Vidaro, I'm afraid you'll find the governor is quite beyond reason. These Valians and their love of animancy. While they theorize and do nothing, the sickness spreads. But worry not, Envoy. The Steel Garrote will be ready to ensure the safety of Adirian interests when the time comes. We all have our part to play, Envoy. Until later.
She's as subtle as a broadside.
Does subtle mean something different outside of Solace?
Come on. My invention is guaranteed to enlarge your essence.
What's the meaning of this?
Look at these crops. Look at your city. The Dream Scourge is... How can you ignore what's right in front of you? The Dream Scourge is here, in the soil, and it's killing us. Oh my goodness. Are you a godlike? In that case, you're right on time.
Maybe you can talk some sense into our governor. Put the fear of the gods in him.
Tempers are high, but I don't see any assassins. Yet.
Excuse me, but unless you have official business, I'll thank you not to involve yourself in our private discussion. Very well. I hope you remember that behind these walls, your influence has limits.
I'm sure he didn't come all this way just to challenge your authority. As you can see, I was just proving a point to our esteemed governor.
A cart full of spoiled vegetables. You call that a point?
Ha! Emerald Stair used to be a lush garden for miles around, and now I don't even recognize it. First came the invasive species, roots and mycelium growing overnight, as though nature itself had gone mad. The Dream Scourge has twisted our lands, our wildlife, and now, our farms. Then there's no time to waste arguing with bureaucrats.
We definitely agree on that.
I believe that we can restore the land, bring back its soul and its sanity, cut off the Dream Scourge at the root. Our governor would rather ignore the problem. He doesn't trust animancy as his father did. Before we can deal with the Dream Scourge, we first need to understand it. Unfortunately, new experiments have to go through him.
Once again, bureaucracy stands in the way of getting things done.
I'm just trying to stop Chiata from hurting herself. Animancy is dangerous when you're shooting in the dark. Are you going to tell him about your family's basement? Or should I?
How dare you use that against me?
I know it was an accident, but look what it cost you. We can't let it happen again.
While we argue among ourselves, the Dream Scourge is tearing the living lands apart. Tearing our people apart. Really? Unexpected from an Adirian. But how could I refuse an offer like that? Well, Governor, looks like I'm taking some time away from my duties. I'll trouble you no more.
Your request is denied, Chiata.
I wasn't asking.
Your responsibilities are to the settlement. Turning away from them sets a precedent that I cannot allow.
Everything I have proposed has been for Fior, and you still refuse to cooperate. Under the circumstances, I don't have much of a choice.
Then neither do I. Chiata Castel, from this day forth, you are banished from Fior Messiverno.
Whoa, you're banishing her for that?
What?
Ignacy, we can't lose our brightest animancer in the middle of a crisis.
Your pupil has gone too far, Quilici. take her and leave. You're still a guest in my town, but to us, Giata is an outcast. Perhaps, but I can't just let her continue to poison the minds of my animancers.
They aren't your animancers. Your father understood that.
Don't bother, old man. He isn't his father. I've done all I can for Fior Mesiverno. But you haven't even tried. Now limp back to your giant house like a good dog. We should talk somewhere private. Meet me at my house due west, by the workshop.
I'll find us another bedroom.
I'm sorry you had to see that. What an asshole.
Giata, some manners, if you please.
Why start now?
We're on the verge of extinction, but our governor is too busy protecting his fragile ego. I can think of one. He's an entitled little worm who can't stand to be proven wrong.
You did challenge his authority.
I know, but... curses. Without Fior Mesiverno, I'm hardly even an animancer. My tools, the workshop, all gone. We'll have fewer resources to work with, but anything's possible. At least now I'm free to study whatever I want, on my terms. The Dream Scourge has been a thorn in my side for too long. I have plans for this island, and they don't involve the Dream Scourge. But that's a story for another day.
Your parents would be proud to see such tenacity.
Anyway, listen to us babble. Let's talk about you. I never expected to see an Adiran envoy here. You've got a lot of guts showing your face in a town full of animancers. It's not for the faint of heart, that's for sure. Our first order of business is the Dream Scourge, but I'm also curious about you. There aren't many godlike left these days. Wouldn't that be a coincidence? I only bring it up because animancy might offer us some insight into your nature. Keep an open mind. While I pack up my belongings, you can help me by... No, sorry. I don't know what came over me. I just realized this is the end. I have to leave Fior Mesiverno. Forever.
Some people don't find out who they really are until they leave home.
You'll be all right. My advice, find a good tavern and learn how to prepare a squirrel over an open flame.
Maybe if I focus on what I have gained, I can learn to accept everything I've lost. When it comes to the Dream Scourge, we haven't been allowed to acknowledge the problem, much less act on a solution. Today, that changes. I need help from the animancers around town, but as you can see, I'm an outcast. Glad to hear it. Your education should come in handy. Manto Pastor is in the workshop due west. He's got an invention that can help us. Elia Rossell is an authority on the undead. Her methods are controversial, but useful. She lives in a cottage southeast of town. And then there's Yvette and Remy, our philosophers. You'll find them at the docks, southeast of Fior. Each of them owes me a favor. Drop my name and they'll tell you what they know about the Dream Scourge. We're about to make history. But first, research.
Guessing she's not much of a hunter. Might want to get extra rations next time we go shopping.
Godlike, Imperial envoy, research assistant. Who knew?